Welcome back, everyone, to the next installment of Chaos Child. We saved Kurisu, but we have no idea where Sarika is. A faint vibration pulled me out from the sea of sleep. Who the hell could be calling at this hour? Wait, what time was it? And where was I? Kurisu's room? I remembered everything and was instantly fully awake. If Sarika was going to attack Kurisu, it would be on November 4th. I'd stayed over in Kurisu's room last night to keep her safe. Dad was away tonight of all nights on some conference or meeting or something. Huh. Yeah. It was up to me to keep Kurisu safe, but at some point I'd fallen asleep. I leaped up and looked at the bed, but she wasn't there. Where did she go? No way. Just before I raced out of the room to go look, I caught a glimpse of my smartphone screen. The phone was still vibrating. Kunosato? It was rare for her to call me. What had happened? I grabbed the phone with a shaking hand, afraid for what I was about to hear. My voice was hoarse since I'd just woken up. She was as rude as ever.
そんなことより何なんです。わざわざ電話なんて。
あいにくだが、細かい前置きをしている状況じゃない。端的に要件だけを言う。昨日、11月4日がどういう日か知っているな。
My heart started to beat faster.
ドキュンパズルですか。
そうだ。予想通り、新たな犠牲者が出た。
Oh? It wasn't Kurisu, was it? My heart felt like it was about to stop. But when she told me the victim's name, it was someone I never expected. Oh, man. Could it have been Dad? Is this going to be the big twist? Sarika did say that he was going to be the first victim until she realized how useful he could be.
11月4日深夜、東京都渋谷区にて惨殺死体で発見された。所持品などを調べた結果、被害者の名前は佐久間渡、児童養護施設青葉寮の経営者だ。
Nailed it. Although, remember, on this story path, we think that this is a terrible, terrible thing for Sarika to do. The man was nuts, but we don't know that yet. So, oh boy. I felt a shock, like someone had pounded a nail into the center of my brain. Oh my god, do you think Sarika got his machine? She'd be unstoppable. She could read minds and control people. My ears began to ring, and everything started to feel unreal. Dad had been killed? I prayed that this was some kind of nightmare. But I didn't even have the right to escape into my delusions.
父さんはいつ。
本当かとは聞かないのか。こういう場合、普通なら疑ってかかってもおかしくはないと思うが、それとも最初からその可能性があったか。
Well, it's a video game and we need people related to us, so,
いや、今はどうでもいいことだな。一応詳細を教えておいてやる。
Oh, you know what this means, by the way? Even though he had the mind control machine, this is the first non-psychic death.
お願いします。
死亡推定時刻は11月4日22時半から23時半。死因は鋭い刃物による頸動脈の切断。それもただの一撃で致命傷を与えられていた。防御創や争った形跡もない。にもかかわらず真正面から切りつけられている。
That's extremely disturbing. I wonder if that means she did get the machine.
可能性として考えられるのは3つ。1つ目は加害者と被害者が顔見知りだった。2つ目は加害者が被害者を待ち伏せするなどしてとにかく不意打ちにした。 そして3つ目はその合わせ技だな。
Well, I mean, I don't think this is actually the case, but the fourth possibility is that he was willing, but there's no way. Kunosato's tone was calm and level. She was like a doctor telling a patient the result of an exam. But to be honest, I preferred it that way.
私が知っている情報は以上だ。いずれ警察からも連絡があるだろう。そちらで何か心当たりがあれば教えろ。
See, this is bad because now we know Sarika doesn't want our family to supersede her, so she might just really start going after family in general. Once she was done talking, she hung up, but I kept the phone pressed against my ear, barely aware of what I was doing. Dad had been killed. I wonder what Kurizu's gonna think of this, because she was supposed to be killed, and now Dad was killed because she wasn't. It didn't feel real hearing the words. But just like Kunosato had said, there was no point in her lying. And if she was telling the truth, the murderer was probably, no, definitely, Sarika. But why would Sarika kill Dad? Because she needed to finish the string of killings? I mean, he was an accomplice. Of course, that was probably part of it, but why Dad? And why suddenly lowercase it? Had she gone after Dad since I was keeping her from getting to Kurisu? No. No, no, no. Now is not the time to be thinking about that. Dad was murdered, and I was the reason. I killed Yui, and I killed Dad. That's right. What about Kurisu? I ran into the living room and found her.
Kurisu.
She was standing there in shock, holding the phone in her hands. She slowly turned toward me and spoke in a voice that was barely audible.
Takuru. 父さんが。
Kurisu.
I ran to her and grabbed her before she could hit the ground.
タクル、父さんが死んだって。父さんが。知ってるの？どうして？
さっき、Kunosatoさんから連絡が。
そう。
The irony that we have no clue how, like, who Dad really was. Her hands gripped my arm so tightly that it hurt. To be honest, I'd never seen her so weak before. She'd always been strong, but now Yui and Dad were dead, and at the hands of a person she thought was her friend.
どうしよう。タクル、私たちこれからどうすればいい？そうだ、ユウトに知らせなきゃ。それからウキちゃんにも、あと警察に行って身元の確認をしてほしいって。学校にも連絡を。それに。
落ち着いてクルス。
Strangely, it seemed that being in the presence of someone who was more panicky than yourself actually made you calmer. I softly patted her on the head, just like she'd done for me last night.
今はいい。余計なことは考えなくていいから。
Of course, that didn't actually make it better. Without Dad, we had all kinds of problems to deal with. But first, we'd have to calm down.
ごめんね、タクル。もう少し経てば元の私に戻るから。だから。
Only then did I finally realize. Kurisu had probably always forced herself to be strong like this no matter what had happened. She's told herself she needed to be tough no matter what. That she'd had to be strong to protect Yui and Yuto without me at Aoba Dorm. But I'd been selfish and... It's okay now. I'm here for you. That's probably what I should have said. But all I did was gently rub her back. The next few days were a blur. We had to go to the police and ID the body, then get the death certificate. I was surprised at how much work there was for the family of a murder victim to do. I was worried that there might not be time to properly mourn, but maybe it was better to be so busy there wasn't time to remember you were sad. Both Kurisu and I were able to forget about things during all that. The problem was Yuto. He had lost his sister and now his adoptive father was dead. He was never a strong boy to begin with, so he was in pretty bad shape. but Yamazoe was what saved him. She stayed with him the whole time while we were running around. After the autopsy of Dad's body was finished, it was decided that he be cremated. We didn't have the money for a funeral, but a local neighborhood group put together enough money for the cheapest service available. We somehow managed to make it work. A lot of Dad's old patients came to pay their respects. And when it was all over, we suddenly found ourselves facing a new problem.
そんな、私たちにここを出ていけって言うんですか？
立て続けの不幸の上に追い打ちをかけるような状況になってるんだ。君たちには酷なことだと思うが。
Shinjo had come to visit us that day in Aoba dorm. He had a bitter look on his face as he spoke.
今回の事件を契機にうちの二課が調べたんだが、どうやら佐久間氏は保険に入っていなかったようでな。
それは、はい、そうです。父さんには何度か言ったんですが、本人が面倒くさがって、まさかこんなことになるとは思っていなかったので。
I'd never talked to Dad about money. She was the only one in the dorm who knew that.
ここの財布を管理していたのは君か？
はい。
だったらわかると思うが、経営状態も芳しいとは言えない。むしろ、もともと赤字経営なところに、あちこちに出している不当たりが積もりに積もって、窒息寸前って状態だった。
I knew we weren't rich, but I had no idea it was that bad. And yet Dad had taken us in anyway. Only now, when it was too late, did I realize how much he'd protected us. Wow, the irony.
その上、この建物自体も抵当に入っていたようだ。君か宮代君が相続しても構わないが、仮にそうしたところで建物ごと取り上げられた挙句、借金だけが残ることになる。とても賢明な判断とは言えないだろう。
In other words, we had no choice but to leave.
ねえ、のの姉ちゃん。
Yuto was standing a little away from us, looking scared.
どういうこと？僕たちどうなっちゃうの？ユウト、僕たちここを出て行かなきゃいけないの？そんなの嫌だよ。だってここは僕の家だもん。僕とお姉ちゃんとお父さんと、それからのの姉ちゃんとたぐる兄ちゃんとうき姉ちゃんと、みんなで暮らした家だもん。そんなの僕ゆうとくん。
Yamazoe held him gently as he started to cry. Her face was clouded with worry, too. I could understand it. She'd finally made it out of that basement and had only just started getting used to her new life, and now this had happened.
でも、急にここを出て行けなんて言われても、僕たちには他に行くところがありません。
I could go back to the RV I'd been living in, but I wouldn't be able to fit everyone there. There was no room in there for 4 people, even if some of them were kids.
それなんだが、別の施設に移るってのが妥当だと思う。
別の施設？
ただ、これも一つ問題があってだな。例の地震以降、都内の施設はどこも満杯なんだ。全員まとめて同じ場所ってのはどうも難しいらしい。
それってつまり、それぞれ別の施設にってことですか？
そういうことになるだろうな。
そんな。
Yuto was the first to speak.
そんなの嫌だよ。ここを出ていくだけじゃなく、みんなとバラバラだなんて。そんなの僕。
I gasped a little as I heard the tension in Yuto's voice. I'd never seen him express himself so clearly to an adult. That was how serious the prospect of leaving everyone was to him.
私も嫌です。
Yamazoe rubbed Yuto's back, speaking in a clearer voice than I'd ever heard from her before.
せっかくみんなと家族になれたのに、そんなのひどいです。
Shinjo scratched his head as if he wasn't sure what to say. He was a nice guy, really. Telling us this stuff wasn't even his job. But he was the one who had told us, and he was the only person we could complain to.
大丈夫よ、ユウト。それにユキちゃん、私が何とかするから。
なんとかってどうするつもりだ？
それはアルバイトとか。
バイトって、これだけの人数が生活できるほど稼げるわけがない。
でも学校を辞めれば。
本気か？
だって他にみんなが一緒にいられる方法なんてないじゃない。私だってみんながバラバラになるなんて嫌なの。大事な家族だもの。僕も働く。ユウト、のの姉ちゃんたちと一緒にいられるんだったら僕も働く。新聞配達とか僕にだってできるし。
I never expected Yuto to say something like that. His life here must have been very important to him. But it was important to me, too. And there was something else we had to worry about. Was Serika going to give up now? She hadn't come after us so far, but there was no guarantee she wouldn't come after Kurisu again. Or maybe Yuto or Uki would be her next target. Which meant there was only one thing I could do.
生活は僕の蓄えを使えばしばらくはなんとかできると思う。
タクル。
問題は住む場所だ。
But would any place rent a room to a bunch of students who just lost their father?
まあ、最初からこうなるだろうとは思ってたよ。
Shinjo sighed and scratched his head some more, then took his phone out of his pocket.
何かいい方法があるんですか？
こういうのが得意な知り合いに当たってみる。ああ、君たちもよく知ってる人物だよ。ただ断っとくが、見つかるという保証はないぞ。
It's someone you know well. It can't possibly be Gen. Like, what sense does that make? And it wouldn't be Kunosato because... Oh, wait, no, maybe it's Momose, actually.
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。
Kurisu, Yuto, and Yamazoe all bowed.
ったく、こういうのは俺の仕事じゃないんだがな。
He mumbled to himself as he dialed the number, then put the phone up to his ear.
ああ、もしもし、百瀬さんですか？
There we go.
折り入って話があるんですが、今、時間いいですか？
さあ、ここがあんたたちの部屋よ。
Wow, alright. But where is it? Or is it in Frisia somehow? None of us were sure what to say when Momose took us to our new place. Huh. Nope.
ここですか？
It was an old rundown apartment building that had clearly been built at least 30 years ago.
まあ、条件が条件だし、見つかっただけよしとしてちょうだい。
大丈夫よ、タクル。見た目はちょっとあれだけど、設備はちゃんとしてるし、それに住めば都って言うじゃない？そうだよ、タクル兄ちゃん。みんなで一緒にいられるなら、少しくらい古くても。
Plus, can't we move our stuff from our old place?
私も十分素敵なところだと思います。
I mean, I know it's a step down, but considering Uki's situation, she'd probably think anything was wonderful. Everybody was trying to stay positive, but I wasn't worried about the age of the building or the condition of the room.
違うんだよ。そういうことじゃないんだ。
そういうことじゃないって、じゃあタクルは何を気にしてるの？
それは
やれやれ、昼間っから随分とうるさいと思ったら、何の冗談だこれは。
Oh, this is amazing. We got an apartment near Kunosato's, just like in her complex. The closed door had opened and Kunosato had come out.
クノサトさん、どうしてここに？
Kurisu moved between Kunosato and Yuto as she spoke. This was bad. These two didn't get along. Of course, that was only because Kunosato hated us for no reason.
挨拶なり菓子折りの一つでも持ってくるならまだしも、後から来ておいて随分な態度だな。
後から？ねえタクル、それどういうことなの？
Don't tell me we're actually sharing her living space, because that place looked barely enough for her by herself.
それはつまりこの部屋の隣が彼女の部屋っていうか。
Okay, next door.
お隣？
God, that's awkward. Although, we could hear live K broadcasts. Ooh, goody. I nodded silently. Kurisu grabbed Yuto's hand and headed for the door.
ユウト、行くわよ。ほら、ウキちゃんも。え、のの姉ちゃん。
Yeah, Yuto doesn't know Kunosato at all, so, like, what?
クルス、行くってどこへだよ。
決まってるでしょ。あんな人の隣だなんて。
Yamazoe was standing in the center of the room, fidgeting.
ここを出て行ってくれるのはこちらとしても非常にありがたい話だが、行き先はあるのか？
あなたには関係のないことです。
Seeing Kunosato had caused the blood to rush to Kurisu's head.
落ち着けよクルス、冷静になれ。
だってタクル、あなただって知ってるでしょ、この人がどういう人か。
それは分かってるけど、ここを出たところでその後どうするんだよ。
Plus, it's not like we're going to be interacting with each other, like, ever. As long as we keep out of each other's way, it shouldn't be so bad.
あなたが住んでたあの車にでも行くわよ。
ユウトやウキもいるのにか。
それは。
悪かったわね。でも他になくてさ。
You know, this is making me wonder, because at the beginning of the game, Momose said that one of her kids was going to go talk to Shinjo. Is Kunosato actually her daughter? Because if she is, the idea that she's apologizing for this is amazing. Momose looked a little upset to see how poorly Kurisu and Kunosato got along. Only when she saw that did Kurisu let go of Yuto's hand.
のの姉ちゃん、僕たち行くところなくなっちゃうの？ごめんね。大丈夫よ。私がどうかしてた。
She gently patted Yuto on the head and turned to Kunosato.
でも言っておきますけど、あくまでも隣に住んでるだけですから。タクルやウキに実験とかおかしなことしようとしたら黙ってませんからね。
それはこちらのセリフだ。大勢で騒いだりしたら容赦なく壁を殴りつけるからな。
Yeah, that's the thing with living next door. Noise will be a problem. And she live streams. So yeah, that's a pain in the ass. We'd both better keep it down.
それからドアの外でばったり顔を合わせたりするのもごめんだ。私が廊下に出た時には出てくるんじゃないぞ。
Kunosato turned and walked back down the hall to her own room, her footsteps creaking on the wooden floor.
本当に何なのよあの人。
I mean, I get that it's annoying that she said that, but it's really what they both want, isn't it? Kurisu stuck her tongue out at the closed door. Was she a little kid? But it was rare to see Kurisu acting like a little kid. In a sense, Kunosato had a unique talent for bringing that side of Kurisu out.
すまないわね。
いいえ、こちらこそすみません。わざわざ面倒見てもらったのに。
あの子もいろいろ事情があるのよ。勘弁してやってちょうだい。
Yeah, I know Takaru said she hates us for no reason, but she's made it apparent that she hates all psychics, and you know there's a reason. Problems. Only then did I wonder for the first time why Kunosato was so obsessively pursuing the case. Yeah, she hates psychics, but she really hates the committee, and we've still never gotten a sense of the committee. Sakuma's some peon in it. That's all we got. She was originally a brain scientist, supposedly, but I doubt she'd tell me if I asked.
おいお前ら、 人に手伝いさせて何のんびりしてんだ。少しは自分たちで運べ。
あ、すみません。すぐやります。ほら、タクル。
あ、うん。
Whew! Once Shinjo and Momose finished carrying everything in, they left, and we were alone. Kurisu had split up the work for the move, but this wasn't a big room and we had a lot of people. We couldn't bring in most of the furniture, and even if we did, there'd be no place to put it. In the end, we only brought clothes, daily necessities, and a few mementos, so it wasn't too much work. My internet was set up, so at least I had that. Okay. Kurisu stood in the kitchen, filling a pot with water. She put the pot on the burner and turned on the gas.
ご飯おそばでいいわよね。
それ知ってます。引っ越しそばと言うんですよね。
Hey, guess what? Uki has her other outfit that I guess she has in this version.
ええ。本当はお隣にも持っていくものなんだけど。
Kunosada was our next door neighbor. Even if we did take it, I doubted she'd eat it.
おそば。
ゆうとはカレーとかハンバーグとか食べたかったかしら。おそばでいいよ。そう、ごめんね。
私手伝います。
ありがとう。それじゃあ食器の用意をしてくれるかしら。それからテーブルを拭いて。
He said he didn't mind soba, but a kid Yuto's age must have wanted to eat something different. But he was probably trying not to cause a fuss because of how little money we had. And Yamazoe was trying to find her own role in the family. But...
ごちそうさまでした。
お粗末様でした。
we found a place to live, but there was still so much to worry about. If I was just trying to survive on my own like I had been in the RV, I would have been fine. But now things were different. We had to survive on our own now, with no one's protection. How long would we be able to keep this up? I had no clear vision for the future. I realized once more how much it meant for Dad to take us in.
タクル、大丈夫？ご飯足りた？
あ、うん、もう十分だ。
明日からはもうちょっとちゃんとしたご飯作るからね。
I wasn't really worried about that, but I nodded anyway.
それじゃあ、お腹もいっぱいになったことだし、改めまして。
Kurisu sat up straight.
今日からここが私たち家族の家です。
なんだよ、いきなり。
新しい生活にあたって初心表明みたいなものよ。
そんなの別にいらないだろう。
あら、けじめは大切よ。
That was just like Kurisu, though.
さて、新しい生活を始めるにあたって一つだけ約束。
約束？
そう。と言っても前と同じよ。家族の間で隠し事はしないこと。これだけは守ってほしいの。もう二度と家族がバラバラにならないように。
クルス。
It felt like an expression of her resolve to me. She never wanted me to leave her again. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know breaking up the family is the last thing we want to do, but it might be easier for them if I went to the RV.
わかった。約束する。私も約束します。
タクルは？
ああ、約束する。
よろしい。それじゃあみんな、改めてよろしくお願いします。
お願いします。
And thus our new life began.
あら、ユウトったらもう眠そう。そうよね。今日はユウトも頑張ってくれたもんね。それじゃあ、お風呂入ったら寝ましょうか。
Fortunately, as beat up as this apartment was, it had its own bath and toilet. To be fair, there weren't that many public baths left lately. An apartment building without baths and toilets wouldn't make it. I looked at the clock and it was just past 9. It felt like a long day. Living in the same room as other people meant that you couldn't set the pace of your own day. I'd realized that just over these few hours. I'd lived with others before, but I'd always had my own personal space. Here, though, I didn't. If I wanted my own space, I'd have to leave. Of course, I couldn't ask for too much right now. And anyway, I felt a kind of peace here.
タクル、お風呂をお先にいただいたわ。あなたも入ったら？汗かいたでしょ？
あ、僕はいいよ。
ダメよ。そんな汚れた体でお布団へは入らせません。
I used to find Kurusu annoying at times like this, but now...
二人ともよっぽど疲れてたのね。横になった途端寝ちゃった。
We'd never all slept together on the floor like this before.
なあ、クリス。
大丈夫よ。父さんもいなくなって、この先どう生活していこうって言うんでしょ？
なんで？
タクルの言いたいことくらいわかるわ。だって私はあなたの家族、お姉さんだもの。
クリス。
まだそう呼ぶんだね、私のこと。いいのいいの。ただできればいつかね、元の呼び方に戻ってくれたらいいなってね。ごめん。とにかくね、こうやって家族みんなで力を合わせていけばきっと大丈夫。なんとかなる。私がなんとかしてみせるわ。だから。
It was as if she was talking to herself. Having everyone together in that old home had been really important to Kurusu. I realized now that she was probably the one who was most hurt when I left, and also the one who was most nervous now.
家族か。なんでもないよ。おやすみ。
おやすみなさい。
Would we be able to be a family again here? I almost said the words, but was too embarrassed. But listening to everyone snore next to me brought me a great deal of peace.
タクルったら起きなさい。しょうがない。こうなったら。タクル、起きろー！やっと起きた。
なんだよ、大声出して。びっくりするだろ。
いつまで経ってもあなたが起きないからでしょ。
だからってそんな起こし方。
Huh? Wait, why was Kurusu waking me up? And this room?
タクル兄ちゃん起きるの遅い。みんなとっくに起きちゃってますよ。
そっか。
That's right. We were all living here now. Literally under the same roof.
それにしても、どうせ起こすならもっと優しく起こしてくれればいいだろう。
Yeah, I couldn't have thought I was gonna get mad.
何言ってるの。最初はやってたわよ。ねえ。
のの姉ちゃん最初はすごーく優しい声だったよ。それでもタクルさんがなかなか起きないから。
Evidently it was 3 versus 1.
それより朝ごはんできるからお布団片付けて用意して。
僕は朝ごはんは。
ダメ。朝ちゃんと食べないと元気出ないんだから。ほらほら。
Would she like yank me up? Oh, okay. I still wanted to sleep, but she took my futon from me. Yamazoe was looking at us as if she found something strange.
何？
いえ、そうしてると本当の兄弟みたいだなって。
あら、だって家族だもん。普通のことよ。
家族ですか？
そうよ。 もちろんウキちゃん、あなたも。
私も。
Yamazoe smiled, embarrassed. Kurisu looked happy to see her that way, too. And then, things have moved on. After breakfast, I used my Pokecom to look for information on the murders. We just can't let it go. But for now, it is time to stop the installment. Well, we certainly made a lot of progress today, didn't we? There was, in fact, a murder, and it was not Kurisu. It was Sakuma. He was such a villain in the normal path, and yet we had no idea about this time, so it's a tragedy that he's gone. And he was also the person keeping our home and our finances together, and we are no longer living in Aoba dorm. Things are turning around. We do have a new apartment, incredibly awkwardly next to Kunosato. I guess we'll see how we get along. Until next time, everyone.